Meghan's
Well
all
done.
titles.
Insiders
It's time
revealed
to
King
fight back,
Charles banned
Charles.
Harry and
As Harry
Meghan's
goes for
all
the
titles.
jugular,
It
our
is time to
insider
fight
reveals
back,
how concerned
Charles, as
courtiers are
Harry
hoping
goes
the
for the
king takes a
jugular,
more
our
aggressive
insider
approach against
reveals how
Sussexes,
worried
who they
courtiers
fear
are
want to
hoping the
bring
king
down the
takes
royal
a more
family.
aggressive
Hello and a
strategy
very warm
towards
welcome to Kate
Sussexes,
Middleton
who
and the
they
Queen News
worry
YouTube
prefer to
channel.
carry down the royal family. Exactly how long is it gonna take for the king to recognize the clear and present chance that he and the monarchy are dealing with from Harry and Meghan? That is the question right now that is ricocheting all around the halls of Buckingham Palace, Clarence House, and Kensington Palace. Personnel are nonetheless now not over the loss of life of the Queen of Path Not. And now, they're making an attempt to get a manage on this extraordinary friendly fire assault by way of the monarch's very own son, from his Montecito mcmansion, and curiously no longer anybody is in agreement. So some courtiers are acknowledging the want to shield the royal household from Harry, due to the fact he is out for destruction, and the king is keeping that whilst he is unhappy about the rift, he is no longer going to enable counter-punches to be thrown towards his very own family. As an alternative naively, curiously the king is nevertheless hoping and believing that a reconciliation with Harry and Meghan is feasible earlier than his coronation. Now this is a satisfactory function to take. However, I assume it severely underestimates the strength of Harry and Meghan. The king and relaxation of the household did so a whole lot to make Harry and Meghan sense welcome after the Queen handed away. However, then the two of them determined to go in advance with their Netflix hit piece. And additionally, Harry's autobiography Spare will be launched in January. And it is predicted to be even worse. Meghan and Harry have declared war, and they recognize there is no going back. It would not remember how hard Charles tries to open the pathway for communication. It is no longer gonna work. A royal source has reported, the message from the king with the aid of his senior crew continues to be that he is unhappy rather than angry, and hopes that in time the problems can be resolved inside the family. However, that underestimates the mission Harry and Meghan are embarking on, which is about tearing down the organization of the monarchy. Many courtiers agree with the king desires to permit the palace to take a greater aggressive response over the subsequent month. With each phase 2 of the Netflix series and the launch of Spare, or the damage done specially internationally, may want to be difficult to counteract. It is feasible that the episodes launched Ultimate Week had been simply a style of what is to come. There are developing fears at the back of palace partitions that this Thursday's 2D installment of Harry and Meghan's show is gonna be a lot worse. They launched a tremendously combative new trailer the previous day morning, and it does advocate that. Harry made a noticeably adverse claim, perchance of palace courtiers or the British media. We did not get the context. However, what he stated was once they lied to guard Prince William, they by no means defend Sussexes. And he goes on to say that they had been on the receiving stop of institutional gaslighting, and Meghan constantly the sufferer adds, "I wasn't being thrown to the wolves, I used to be being fed to the wolves." Naturally, simply like in the aftermath of Meghan and Harry's Oprah interview, and additionally the launch of Netflix Quantity 1. Many of the most ridiculous claims have been demonstrated to be very deceptive, as Harry admitted perhaps unwisely on screen. He and Meghan do not have a monopoly on the facts. The organization additionally wants to fight back with facts, instead than simply leaving it to the media, frequently barring the matter's imperative to file a good deal of what happened at the back of the scenes. And the royal source added, "The time has come for a step-by-step evaluation of why or what absolutely the entirety Harry and Meghan are announcing definitely misrepresents the help and aid they have been given from day one by means of the institution. However, additionally the right they have been given to make their very own decisions." Now King Charles and Prince William each suggest that they can also be inclined to take an extra contemporary method to media relations, with the selection to throw the Queen's most loyal female in Ready Lady Susan Hussey beneath the buzz, inside simply a few hours of a social media claim by means of Ngozi Fulani. And it is why this wall of silence surrounding Harry and Meghan is now not the wisest decision. It lets the two of them set the agenda, often unchecked by using that little thing referred to as the truth. They additionally want to end the use of this guys in gray suits who work for their most senior royals to conceal at the back of unleashing their fury at the group as a whole. The senior courtier nonetheless have to reply to their principal members of the royal family, which skill that all the massive choices have to have the signal off of both the Queen herself or Charles or William. And the supply added, the notion that these courtiers had been making decisions, besides the signal off from contributors of the royal household, is for the birds. And when it comes to press coverage, well, people remember human beings who had been concerned in the largest testimonies about Harry and Meghan's time in the royal family, like Tiaragate and Megxit. We're gonna have to wait for Thursday's episode earlier than we can definitely judge. However, still, I suppose it is ridiculous to recommend that the royal household used to be planting bad testimonies about the grotesque twosome. In fact, for a lengthy time they did the entirety they could and basically succeeded to preserve a lot of negative, however actual stories out of the media, typically at the request of Harry and Meghan. However, the time has come now for the King and Prince William to recognize that the stakes are sincerely too excessive for them to simply take a seat out and wait and see what happens. Even at the peak of their very own poisonous battles with the monarchy, neither Princess Diana nor the Duke of Windsor ever pushed such a clear anti-Commonwealth message that used to be additionally certain to motivate the Republican cause. And a lot of the world's uber-woke media humans are aiding Meghan and Harry, even if most humans see proper through their pretend victimhood. There wants to be actual stability furnished officially. And then there is the trouble of the coronation itself. It simply would not experience proper for the king to enable Meghan and Harry to come returned into the royal fold like nothing ever happened and take the front row seats. That would threat an essential ancient tournament turning into a sideshow. It really is all about them. Rather, the king wants to order the two of them. Instead, he wants to inform them each to remain away. He desires to make it clear that his tolerance had been the gruesome twosome, trying to undo the late Queen's lifestyle's work, and injury to the UK is eventually walking out. Tragically though, he seems to be looking to take the soft strategy, but again, and that method may want to be very risky for the institution. And when it comes to the late Princess Diana, I am certain that she would have been open to everybody who her youthful son loved. However, like most of us, her opinion would have rapidly modified when she discovered Meghan Markle was once making an attempt to flirt with William and then making an attempt to smash his marriage with infidelity rumors when he did not reply to her advances. And then when none of that worked and Meghan and Harry exhibit their actual selves, I'm certain that Diana would have been very upset. And she would have sided with William besides a doubt. Now she used to be a company believer in the monarchy, and I sincerely suppose that if it got here down to it, she would guide the heir alternatively of despair. And if Diana had been nevertheless living, I without a doubt do not suppose that Meghan would be somewhere shut to Harry, a lot much less married to him. Diana would have viewed Meghan for what she was once at first glance, and she would have carried out anything she wanted to get rid of her. She would have bribed, she would have threatened, some things she had to do. Meghan would in no way have stood a chance. You do not prefer to mess with a mama bear who is defending her baby. It can absolutely be very risky